all of us are over 21 and can profess to that. And then the other thing that's really a good testament of our acceptance of things is, how do we react? How do we react? And I mean, your body never lies. Your body is not caught up in your mind. Your body never lies. How do you react when you believe a certain kind of thought is true? When something that comes up that you know, if you start getting that feeling inside, or an anger, or sadness, or a depression, you gotta start asking yourself some questions. Now, the other big challenge here is, can you see a reason to drop it? This belief, this habit, this idea, whatever's causing you not to be able to. Can you see a reason for it? And again, don't try to do it. Because if you try to do it, it's going to get stronger, because it's not going to want to let you go. And so if you can at least just see a reason, a glimpse of a reason. And then, can you find one stress-free reason to drop it? One stress-free. One stress-free. Just one to drop it. And then, who would you be without it? Without this belief, without this feeling, without this holding on to this thing? Who would you be? Would there be some space around you to experience it a different way? And coming from one of America's #1 control junkies, this is one. Case in point, I love to use myself as the example. I hired someone this week to work for my company. And so I'm turning over some work to this person and training them, blah, blah, blah. Which is great. This is going to free up more of my time to go do some other things. I found myself, I want this person to be proactive. This is why I hired this person with these skills and make some things happen. He took it upon himself to go and visit a client and start making some things happen. Ego comes up and goes, wait a minute, that's my role. Who are you to be going in there and having these kind of dialogues and coming up with ideas and solutions? Wait a minute, I'm supposed to tell you what to do. And so I watched myself, and I was like, oh, isn't this convenient and cute? Look at this. The very same thing that's come to help you is the very same thing that you now feel threatened by. And it's like, what a head game. What a delusion. I, me, mine, fear. They might like him better than me. Do you see how the insanity from little things can carry over in our experiences? And when you look at these trends, they don't just stop with that one thing. You have to start looking and saying, where am I allowing this to happen all through my life? Because these trends and patterns and these neural pathways are how we operate. So where else am I having that? And when there's no other irritant or influence, we're fine. By myself in a room, I'm fabulous. Oh, I can tell you all about it. There's the thing. There's the thing that makes me nervous. There's the monster. There's the whatever. Oh, then that's the real test. So who would you be without that burden? Who would you really be? Maybe they might like me better if they think I hire well. And you know what's so funny? I went in to see the client the next day, and I had this person with me. And so one of the folks from the client said, well, you're not leaving, are you? I said, no, I'm just going to be directing things, and I've got some other work to do. Well, good. And a little ego got his little stroke. And you know how you're almost like secretly embarrassed, like, they really do like me. I'm embarrassed for acting such a fool with myself. But how embarrassing is it when we've acted a fool with other people? And it's just kind of like you acting a fool before your big surprise birthday party, and you walk in the door after you've been shouting and screaming, and everybody's standing there waiting, and you're just like, oh. And it's the same kind of thing. But whether we're embarrassed in front of other people or embarrassed in front of ourselves, I think it's a signpost that says, hey, there's something here that needs to be addressed. Because after we've done all of that and ask ourselves these questions around, is it true? Can you really know that this is true? Is it true that they don't really like you, this person's taken over? Well, you did hire them to take over. Can you really know it's true that they don't? Because of a couple of words, that's ego. So how are you reacting now that you believe that someone else might like somebody else better than you? Oh, I've got pain. I don't feel comfortable. I need to assert to myself. Everybody knows whose name is on the card and who's writing the checks at the end of the day. And then could you see a reason to drop it? Yeah, this is going to create a crazy message for the person that's working for me that I'm a nut. It's going to make me look crazy in front of my client. One stress-free reason to drop it, yeah, I got a whole bunch of other stuff I need to do. And who would I be without it? I'd be a really fabulous leader. So how do I turn that around? By accepting that the divine has answered my prayer and that something wonderful has come onto my path that will allow us to achieve more together, that we're growing, I'm growing, the client is growing, and that's why we're here. And when I take the focus off the I and the my, the acceptance and then the blessings can really come. It doesn't have to be our way. And then I said, well, what is surrender now that I got acceptance down? And one of the things that oppose surrendering, panicking. I can't surrender when I'm in panic mode because I'm holding on to it. It's just that stress has just got me because I feel like I'm losing control. Mm-hmm. You don't know nothing about losing control. This perceived fantasy of control. It is hilarious. How funny the idea of that. Case in point, Mother calls me the other morning. Oh my God, can you believe we had an earthquake? Yeah, you did. I thought it was a tornado. I got up, I grabbed my clothes, I ran down the steps, and I'm looking outside. I don't see any wind. I don't see any rain. It's just dark outside, and my house is shaking like a straw hut. And I realized we're having an earthquake. I never would have expected an earthquake. So I was going to run outside, and I just realized, where was I going? And she said, I just realized how little control I have over these massive elements. And I said, it's the same perception we have over the little elements. We have dominion over and an intention to set forth around our behavior and our thoughts and our actions. But being in connection with the oneness and the allness allows us to accept what's happening and then surrender in that moment. I said the earth could have opened and swallowed the entire state of Illinois up. It really could have. I said, and there's nothing in your earthly power you can do about that but be in it and still be at peace. As traumatic as I can only imagine that would be. But this uncertainty and this feeling that I'm giving up if I surrender, and because the other thing that thwarts surrender is doing this. I must do, because if I put more effort in, then it is going to be better. I'm going to bake this cake faster and longer, and it's going to be better. It is just going to be burnt, and that's all you got is charcoal. So this panic and this losing control, and it leads when we can see it and call it out and say, there's something that's uncomfortable for me. Am I in any of these places? Let me just surrender it. And what does that look like? Allowing this trust that we've built up in this practice. This is a practice, folks. This is a practice, a practice. The practice of meditation. The practice of medicine is a practice. Then I think about Buddha and how Buddha traveled all over, going through the extremes to try to find his divinity and his salvation. I look at Jesus, out in the wilderness. What do I do? Just show me what to do. And these folks ain't listening, and these people over here acting crazy. What am I supposed to do? It's a practice. It's a practice. And in that, in every little bit, every little day, the knowingness starts to erupt. And then this allowing, just allowing.